I want to tell you a story about misinformation. About a month ago, I was scrolling through Instagram, and I saw that an old acquaintance had shared an interesting Instagram story. The story was a screenshot of a Twitter post, and the poster was saying that the CDC had lowered speech development milestones for young children because they were covering up for the negative impact of mask mandates and lockdowns. This kind of thing immediately sets off alarm bells in my head. Posts like this, which perfectly confirm previously held opinions of some people, in this case the belief that masks don't work and that the CDC is corrupt, well, it's like a shot of dopamine straight to the brain. And things are almost never that simple. Searching for CDC speech development milestones led me to an article written just a day later on the Post-Millennial, seemingly a far-right news blog. And then things get weird. The story went wide. I don't know what the definition of viral is, but I would say it went viral. Misinformation ripped through the media landscape, contributing to an ever-increasing American diet of bad information and bad conclusions.
The CDC does not make laws in this country. It's not allowed to.
They do not have the authority to do it. And
if you're going to follow the science that says kids are being hurt.
The vaccine battle reaching a fever pitch in the nation's capital.
The CDC did change speech development milestones. I wasn't even aware that they maintained speech development milestones. So Twitter poster Bowtied Ranger actually got that part right. But to say that they lowered speech development milestones is not correct, and I'm not sure how he can say that they did it quietly given that there was a press release. The new guidelines for speech development have added checklists for children at the ages of 15 and 30 months, and they revised the already existing checklist for children at 24 months. So the new guidance says that a child at 30 months should be able to use at least 50 words. The Twitter post and the story from the Post-Millennial implies that the 50-word guidance was moved back from 24 months to 30 months because children in a new masked world with lockdowns weren't meeting the new milestones. But that's just not true. The previous checklist for a child at 24 months never contained a word count, so nothing was lowered and nothing was moved back. And the new guidance was developed based on a literature review conducted in March of 2019, meaning before the COVID-19 pandemic, before masking was a thing, and before lockdowns. So it's not possible that the new guidance is responding to the impact of masking or lockdowns on childhood speech development. And further, the paper clearly explains the rationale for the changes. They did this because the old guidance created a diagnostic problem. Based on their research, if a milestone was based on the 50th percentile mark, half of children meet it and half of children don't, parents would often take a wait-and-see approach. Meaning, if your child fell just below the guidance on speech development, you could wait and see if this was just a minor developmental delay. The thing is, some developmental delays require quick intervention and have long-term negative consequences for children. So their new guidance addresses this problem directly. If your child does not speak at least 50 words by 30 months, they're in the bottom 25th percentile, and you need to intervene now. This information was really easy to find. The CDC and the American Academy of Pediatrics created a press release which links directly to their paper explaining the changes. But none of this matters. It didn't matter to the Twitter poster, it didn't matter to the writers at the Post-Millennial who uncritically repeated what the Twitter poster reported, and this misinformation went viral. The original post got over 25,000 likes and almost 14,000 retweets. It was reported by dozens of small conservative blogs and websites. Verified accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers reposted it. Frankly, people who should know better. A legion of people posted their own tweets, all suspiciously using the exact same language used in the original tweet and used in the article from the Post-Millennial. And then, this happened.
Meanwhile, the Post-Millennial today pointed out the CDC has quietly lowered early childhood speech standards. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has quietly changed their standards for early childhood development as the effects of pandemic policies on children's development, from speech to reading to other basics, becomes increasingly more apparent.
Primetime news. Fox News repeated a conspiracy theory about the CDC to millions of viewers. I wish I could say I was surprised. This episode in the history of the internet says a lot about our information landscape. People were more than happy to repeat a talking point that they felt was true. It confirmed their priors and it fed into their outrage, but it wasn't true. Unfortunately, these incidents can't really be undone. The cat's out of the bag. People who believe this have largely added it to another of similar incidents that they believe shows the CDC is corrupt and untrustworthy. The post-millennial quietly, see what I did there, revised the title of their article and added a note that they misinterpreted the situation, though the content of the article remains largely the same. The original tweet that spawned all of this is still up, and Fox News isn't going to retract their segment. It seems that despite policy changes in recent years, tech platforms like Twitter still need to do more to combat obvious misinformation. But more than that, everyday Americans need to be more careful about the stories they share. Stories about our institutions and political tales that make us feel good. Because none of us are immune to being misled.